welcome back to my channel. If you are a subscriber to only my YouTube channel, then this planner is going to be a little bit of a surprise to you 1 year later from my last YouTube video. And if you are either a patron on my Patreon or a follower on my Instagram, then this planner is not a shock to you. I wanted to film a video about this planner, but also why I switched into it and kind of catch my YouTube up to my Instagram and my Patreon a little bit. So I'm gonna try to mix in planner flip with explanation for why I'm in a ring planner and not my standard TN. So this is an A6 rings. It is 30 millimeter rings. It is a Giglio Campagna in their Apoca green leather. The back plate is 23 millimeters, but I think I mentioned it is 33. I do have a 33 millimeter ring, or 30 millimeter rings in a 23 millimeter back plate. And this planner does close if I move this pen to the spine, but I don't do that unless I'm taking it out of the house and I am home for the day, so this pen goes on the extra pen loop. So for my standard TN friends, there is a lot to catch you up on, and I feel like I'm going to say that a lot, and I don't mean to offend you by saying that. I just, between now and my last YouTube video, I had quite a lot going on, which is kind of why I dropped off the face of the map in terms of YouTube. I got married. We moved in together. I graduated my undergrad. I started my master's program. And I started working full-time in the field of my undergraduate degree. And that's not to check off all of the points or talk about how wonderful I am. That's just to say that where I am now and where I was a year ago in my standard TN are two very different instances and two very different situations. So it kind of makes sense that my planner has shifted as much as my life has. And I kind of want to talk you through the changes that I did make and the things that are honestly still 100% the same. So, I was in standard until I was in standard happily until about halfway through April of 2023. And this video is coming out probably in October of 2023. It is the very end of September as I'm filming this. So I was in standard happily until middle of April of 2023. And I graduated in December of 22. And there were a lot of parts of the standard TN that were no longer necessary, overly redundant, and no longer needed to be. And there were a lot of places that just felt empty, because where there used to be tons of school assignments and events and exam days and due dates and stuff like that, there was nothing on those pages. And I also didn't need quite as much space for every day or for almost anything that I did while I was in my undergrad. So I felt that at the time the standard TN was taking up a lot more space and time than it necessarily needed to. And I was starting to get really frustrated with my setup. So I ended up switching to pocket rings even before this. So in the end of April / beginning of May, I switched into pocket rings, and originally it was just supposed to be like a wallet and reference setup, but I loved how little the pages were, and I could have dated dailies, and it was just such a low setup time cost and energy cost for me that I really thrived. For lack of a better phrase, I thrived in the pocket rings in May, June, and July. I cut down Hobonichi avec pages, and they were pre-dated, and I just used those for my task lists and my rapid logging, just like I would in my standard TN, because I didn't need much. I still had my monthlies. I had very specific weeklies for my needs, and I had a list section and a reference section, and everything was just smaller, more compact, easily movable, and I didn't need much space to do absolutely anything. And then end of July and August hit, and my master's program started up again, or my master's program started, and I was back in school and needing a little bit more room for stuff. I still thought my pocket ring setup was perfect. I just needed a little bit more space, and one of the things that left when I was in my pocket rings was journaling. I didn't have enough room to journal. I played with some options in August, like adding in notes pages in between my dailies, but that didn't really work. And so what I ended up deciding to do, which I'll show you, is cut up pages of a Midori Hibino and hole punch them and put them in rings. And that's, for anyone who doesn't know, that's a day on 2 pages situation, pre-dated. It's Tomoe River paper, and that kind of sold me on switching into A6 rings. I knew I wanted something bigger. I knew I wanted something square because I don't like the look of rectangular rings. I feel like the rings cut too much into the page space, but for some reason square works. I don't know. And so the Midori being A6 size sold me on the A6 rings. And so at the end of August of 2023, I switched into this planner. So I've been in this planner for just over a month. And as you can tell, I'm thriving in this planner. My 2 biggest inspirations for switching into rings in the first place, and then also just being really lovely and free with it, are Carrie at I Heart to Plan, and Nicola at Pink Planner Girl. They both have YouTubes. They both have Instagrams. I will link those below. But they're really the inspiration for switching into rings originally, and then just stuffing my poor cover as much as it possibly could go. So that's the short version of my planner journey until now. And now I will give you a flip through, an explanation, things that stayed the same from standard TN until now, and things that changed. It is fall, so I have fall decorations and fall themed things in these pockets. I think I mentioned this was a Giglio Campagna. I'm not gonna go through all of the stuff, from what shop everything is, because ring planners are so personalized. Every single page could be a different shop, and I could spend an hour and a half naming every shop or that each insert that I have is from, and I don't really have an interest in doing that. So I will give you the overview of the main highlights. I'll list them in the description box as well, and if there's one small particular thing that you're looking for, leave a comment and I will try to answer it. So, I will get right into it. The A6 Campagna comes with ring protectors and a flyleaf, and I have just attached an ollie clip to the flyleaf. On the front is some fall themed decoration. On the back are inbox, like physical paper inbox items that I have to deal with or look into. And then we get into my sections. So the way that I decided to set up my sections, this probably took me the most time. I knew what sections I wanted and somewhat in order, but I didn't necessarily know how to organize them, if that makes sense. Like, I'd never created my own planner from scratch. I did a bullet journal originally, but for some reason that seems completely different than like building your own ring system from scratch. So what I did was I bought these side tabs from Cloth and Paper, and they were pre-labeled with schedule, lists, projects, finances, goals / ideas, and miscellaneous. And then I kind of filtered all of my sections in through that, and then added top tabs, which you can't really see because there's paper behind it, and bottom tabs, and you can see the bottom tabs better. The top tabs look exactly like the bottom tabs, just with different words on them. The top and bottom tabs are also Cloth and Paper, and I will mention that the typewriter font stickers on these ones, because these ones are customs, are from Queen City Design Co. I do have a PR code for her through the end of the calendar year for 2023, so through December 31st, if you're interested, and I will link that below. So yeah, the dividers are really important to me because they're kind of the skeleton of the structure of my planner. So yeah, they were important to talk about. So going right in, this first tab right here isn't labeled because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep this section in there, but I am, so I might go back and either buy a new set of stickers or something to label this. But this is my inbox section. In standard TN, my inbox section was in my daily pages. Like, I rapid log in my daily pages, and that's where I said my inboxing went, and so I didn't have a separate inbox system. That's still the case. I still do rapid log in my daily pages, but there's a difference between writing down ideas or thoughts or micro journaling and writing down a task that I know needs to get done eventually, but I'm not scheduling it for this week, and I'm not sure if it's a task for me to put on my next action list or something that somebody else needs to do. So I've been using this inbox system, and somehow it's working with my rapid logging, and I'm doing both of those things. It's quite possible that I'll find that I could streamline my system more by getting rid of one or the other, but I'm kind of like exploding outward in terms of my system, figuring out what works, and then like condensing down further. So yes, this first section is my inbox. As I said, I started this planner at the end of August, and I've made it this far in my inbox. So what I think I'm gonna do is, for my monthly wrap up, I will make sure that all of the items on this inbox have been dealt with and clear this page out and have a new inbox for the month of October. That's my plan anyway. In terms of where inserts are from, there is a 99.9% chance that if you check out 4 shops, you're going to find all of my stuff. The 4 shops that I normally purchase from are Peanuts Planner Co. Probably 90% of my stuff is Peanuts Planner Co. Crefective Paper. I also have a PR code for Crefective Paper that I can share with you, but that ends tomorrow, actually. So I will make a note of it in my description box if that I even have a valid code for that. So Crefective Paper, Paper Test Designs, or Plan with B. If it's not one of those 4 things and it's like an actual write on it insert, I don't even know what it would be in my brain. I have a few inserts that I'm testing out for a friend at the moment. So there is 3 inserts in my planner that are not for those 4 shops. Anyway, rambling. This one's from Peanuts Planner Co. And I have a grid page just in case. Don't know why I need it there, but it felt safe to have it. And then I get into my first side tab. So my first side tab is schedule, as I said. So all of my planning and my dated planning goes in this section. I'm gonna skip over that. On the other side of this insert is the 2023 year at a glance, but I've got some work-related stuff on that side. I don't keep work in my planner, but when it comes to scheduling and holidays and time off and stuff like that, I do keep that in my planner. So there's that. I have a holidays freebie. I need to check off 2 more of the holidays that have passed, and then I get into my monthly section. So I will share August with you because it's the first month that I started using this planner. It's Sunday start still. I still use month on 2 pages. But my calendars are a lot more empty now because I've got 1 thing due a month for my college stuff, and then I don't have to worry about times and hours for work because I'm full-time. I work like a standard job. So my monthlies are a lot more empty, and I'm trying to learn to be okay with that. On my September page, I do have an acetate with a monthly tab down here that will mark off the current month, and I will move that when we move into October as well. I still do write out plans in pencil and then move them to pen as I'm setting up the month, because I don't know if it's just because I'm busy or if it's just the way of the world now. Plans shift a lot more than they did when I was in college. So I need everything to be in pencil, and I need everything to be in pencil almost down to the week. So a lot of September is actually honestly still in pencil because I didn't want to write it in pen. So as a part of my my monthly review, I'm going to go back and fill in what actually happened this month in pen, make it neat, and then maybe add in some stuff that I didn't have on my monthly. There's already something in October that I wrote down 2 days ago that's already changed. And I wrote it in pen because I was setting up my monthly calendar, and I'm a little frustrated. So, yes, so I have all of 2023's monthly calendars in here. I do plan on going back through both my standard TN and my pocket rings and putting in the events and the main events of the year, because I don't have, I used 3 planners this year, so I want to house all of the main things that happened in one place. And since I am finishing out the year in A6 rings, hopefully, and moving into 2024 in A6 rings, it makes the most sense to transfer everything into here instead of like back into my standard TN. Yeah, so 2023. As of me recording this video, Peanuts Planner Co. has not posted their 2024 calendar, or I would have popped that into my rings already. I will do that probably as soon as the calendar comes out, and I will move all of this stuff that I have on this 2024 future log to those months and then get rid of this. So before we get there though, I have another fold out with months. I haven't done my full September review yet, so I haven't exactly decided how I'm going to use this. I don't know if I'm going to use this as a planner review thing and just be a little bit more intentional about thinking about what works and what doesn't, or if I'm going to use it as like a way to review the entire year at the end of the 2023 calendar year, because I don't have a good yearly review system yet. So that's just hanging out because I'm not exactly sure what to do with it. After that gets into like future year planning. So I have my 2024 holiday list, my 2024 future planning, and then this one is a fold out, and this one actually I'm using for 2025. Theoretically, I know dates for college stuff into 2025, but I haven't put it here yet. And that's what I've got in my monthly. After that is my weekly section, and this is where it gets fun. So one of the reasons that I moved out of standard TN was because parts of my system broke. Even the parts that I wanted to keep broke, if that makes sense. So things like my habit log that I started developing in winter of 2023, and the rolling weekly spread that I adapted into my daily pages, all of those stopped working because the other parts stopped working. And so it became like a really big out of sight, out of mind problem. And one of the reasons I decided to switch to rings was because in rings, you have a much easier way of making fold-outs. So I went right around the time that I moved into pocket rings. Peanuts Planner Co. announced custom inserts. And so I hopped on that train as fast as possible because when I started my ring journey, Peanuts Planner Co. was the only ring planner insert shop that I had really interacted with at any point in time. So she announced customs and I hopped on that train. I knew that I needed to see my rolling weekly at all times. I think I took out most of September's, and I honestly didn't use my weekly task list this week, so I don't have a used one to show you. But basically, the tasks go here, and the day that you assign it, I put a dot on the day, and then I cross it off on the day it actually gets done, and then draw a line through the rest of the week just to show that it's done. When you turn the page, when you turn to a different part of your planner, you can see the rolling weekly. So I can see my weekly task list from any part of my planner. If I'm in my lists section or in my projects section or anything else, I can see my rolling weekly, which was essential for me and one of the reasons I switched. The other thing that I can see is my adapted habit log, and I have this set up for October, so you can see what I'm tracking there if you're interested. But it's important to me to log So to have this out also, I don't necessarily need to see it all the time, but I need to remember that it's there. So having it underneath my rolling weekly, kind of like a, hey, I'm here, make sure you fill me out, is really awesome as well. But the other thing about customs is you can put multiple things on a single custom. So this is my monthly fold out. It's based on another one of Vivara's inserts, and so I basically took that idea and modified it. And I'm using this one insert for 4 different things, one for each page. This one's habit log. My projects are going to go here because if you remember in my standard TN, I had habits, monthly, like cleaning, and projects, and gratitude. I also tried to keep gratitude in July of last year. Cleaning has moved. However, the rest of the stuff made it onto this insert plus some. So habit log, projects, because I try to take 3 projects that revolve around the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year, and then I review those goals at the end of the month. Meal planning, I'm just starting this month, so I want to meal plan on a 2-week basis, and then also my daily gratitude. And then these inserts wrap around my weekly inserts, so that if this was the current week, for example, I could just pop it open. It is also denoted by this today marker, but I'm not going to show that to you because there's some personal stuff in that section. And then this right here is my weekly custom insert. So I asked for both of these. These are 2 separate inserts. This one right here that you see, and then this weekly that you see that's inside of it. One of the things that I loved about standard, again, that I wanted to keep was my weekly review. And so on this is the weekly review of this set of pages. So I can probably, let me see if I can show you this week. Let me just cover the pages here, but this is what this weekly review will look like. So I will do my 4 questions here. I have a little like month at a glance, and normally I pick 3 focus points for the month or for the week based on like the previous week's weekly review, but I was just way too tired at the beginning of this week. I didn't set up my tasks to even do that. So that's what that looks like. Hold on, just getting back to the right one. And then I talked about my rolling weekly. This here is, I still like keeping track of my schedule, especially like high level meetings that I'm in for work, just to use it as a tangible reminder, like, hey, you've got a meeting here at this time on this day. This is where I need, one of the things I need to be repetitive, because I would forget even with like the reminders on my computer. So I do that, as well as like the evening events that we have going on, but I don't need it to be as big or as detailed as it was in my standard TN. That's one of the things that started to overwhelm me, is I didn't have very much going on once I stopped taking classes. So I didn't need this to be very big at all, but I still needed it. So we broke it down to a smaller size. This here I use for meal planning / logging. So I take it from here, and then when I'm doing my weekly setup and review with my husband, it kind of solidifies here, just like plans solidify from my monthly to my weekly. Meal planning solidifies from here to here. And then this section is for like home and cleaning focuses for each day of the week. I don't yet have a very good grasp on Sundays I want to do this, Mondays I want to do this, Tuesdays I want to do this, and so on and so on. So I kind of on the fly every week go, okay, well, here's our schedule. This is going to be good on like each certain day. Like, oh, we're like going to one of the parents on Saturday. Well, we can't do like a massive deep clean on that Saturday, like that kind of thing. So that's just good for me to have. And then this Hobonichi week style side is where I keep my routines. I'm really bad at doing my AM and PM routines. So I need those. I need to handwrite those every morning or every evening, as well as remember to check them off here. I realized during my 2023 standard TN journey was that like this one was for logging and seeing patterns, but I needed another place to remember to actually do those things, and that's what this turned into. So basically what it looks like is I have 3 columns in each of these rows: AM routines, PM routines, and then routines that happen at intervals but aren't every day, and I put those in the 3rd column. I have some like medications and supplements that I take every other day, every 3 days, every 4 days, whatever it is, and I need to remember to take those, but if it's not every day, I'm gonna remember it even less, and so that's what these are for. And that's my weekly insert, and I adore it so much. I kid you not. It's been the biggest game changer about like the system. I don't think I'd be quite as successful in rings if I hadn't used this system. This insert is in here because before meal planning, this was a spend log, and I would try to, if I needed any extra notes from the day, I'd like add that here. And I tried to do like a daily wish list but didn't buy, or maybe I didn't have a wish list item, so I'd leave it blank. But like every day that I decided to not purchase something, I still would log the item and like total how much I saved the month by like not impulse spending. Didn't really work in terms of like keeping up with it. So I need to move this, but I haven't done that yet. So that is that. Oh, this is September. Okay. The one thing is sometimes there's a lot of paper and you just have to figure out what folds over what. The next section is my daily section, and I am starting to run really long. So I hope everybody, like, I'm gonna try and do this in one fell swoop. After my schedule section, it kind of goes quickly, but you know the amount of time that I'm gonna go before I do, so just settle in with a cup of coffee or something, because we're going on a ride. I've got a lot to catch you guys up on. The next section is my daily section. I do have a reminder of my routines here. This is more in depth than the little task list one in my weeklies, because it also tells me the order of things, and some of these things aren't like so like big necessity that they have to be a task in here. But I do like to have this just as a reminder. And then I'm going to not take you to today's page, but I'll take you to a random page. As I said, I chopped the Midori planner, the Midori Hibino, into A6. Sorry if my foot there is weirding you guys out. I chopped it and it fits pretty perfectly. It's a little bit shorter because I did shave it off where the binding was, but it actually doesn't bother me that much that it's a little shorter. I'm not known for being a precise paper slicer, so my paper is very rough anyway, and I didn't feel like this was a significant enough difference to be irritated. I'm going for the cozy lived in, just do it kind of style. So that's what this is. The day is marked by this page tab right here. Basically how I'm using this is schedule. So just like I had in my weekly, I do rewrite my schedule because I do have important meetings. And then I also memory keep large events at the end of the day that happen during the day, because that's something that I started doing in Pocket Rings. I had a separate weekly insert in Pocket Rings for just micro journaling, like good things or big memories or big things that happened, just as like a mindfulness and centering practice. So instead of keeping like another week on 2 pages insert, I just decided that since the Midori Hibino already had it, it'd be a good place to switch it to. So that's what goes right here. And then on the other side of this very faint line is where I write my tasks and I start rapid logging. This grid is 2.5 millimeter grid, so it is teeny tiny. If I'm not careful, I can fill up this side with way too many tasks and overburden myself. So I try to I've started categorizing my tasks by like hat that I wear, for lack of a better word. So all of my cleaning tasks, like the ones from my focus part of my weekly, they'll go under like a cleaning home task, and maybe I'll hand letter that so it takes up more lines. School, personal admin, stuff like that, and I'll just like brush letter if I have the time to give myself like less space, for lack of a better word. And I will rapid log, just like I always was doing. And if I use up the space here, I move on to this page, and then I journal out the rest of this page at the end of the day. There are some days where I don't journal at the end of the day, and I'm trying to learn to be okay with that. I have yet to use up an entire column and then need more room on this page for tasks and rapid logging. Like, that's just how much room is on this side, I find. So I end up trying to fill this entire space with journaling. I do use a lot of stickers. Another one of the reasons that I was starting to get friction with the Pocket Rings was that I couldn't use as much decorations as I really wanted to. And I found that I quite enjoyed that. It was ridiculously tedious when I was moving out of standard tan, and it was one of the reasons I fell in love with Pocket, was that I didn't have to do it. But then when I started to want to again, about a month and a half in, I didn't have any room for it. There was nowhere to decorate. So having 2 pages and A6 size has been really fun. So let me see if there's a page that I can, let's see, I think this one's pretty, no. Do I have any page where it's like really, really empty? No, I took out all of my September pages to put in my October pages, but just trust me when I say I've got lots of decoration and I do enjoy it, and I don't find it tedious, and I don't find that it takes up too much space because this grid is so small. But yeah, I have 1 month of dailies in here. I've got 1 month of weeklies as well. I don't know if I said that. I don't want to keep more than that at a time. This insert is theoretically to index what I journal about. I got that idea from Lindsay Scribbles, because sometimes I rapid log about my novel in my daily pages, and I want to be able to find those notes again, but I haven't done that. So in my September review that I'm still working on, I'm gonna go back and do that as I'm checking for notes. Journaling prompts from Journaling Home. And then my next section is my lists section. So in my standard TN, this was at the back of my daily pages. It's way more haphazard and thrown together than that was. So I do have a next action list, which I'm not going to show because I'm not sure what's on it. I have a create list, like an I want to make this. The wonderful thing about rings is it's making me more creative, because I feel like I have an ability to make things like digitals and then print them for this planner much more than I felt like I could in my TN. Call it ridiculous, but it is what it is. So I have a list of ideas of things that I want to make for that. I have a destash list. I have a list of items that I'm working on destashing. I've just decided what it is. I have not posted anything about it. Actually, I'm also learning to be okay with having multiple colors of pen on the same page, which oh boy, I hope you didn't see that. I'm gonna have to go in and cover that up because that was someone's address, and I bet that they would be really, really upset if I showed that on camera. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in and figure that out. That's really frustrating. I didn't go in on my pages and like do any sticky note covering of anything, so I just kind of like decided I was going to do this today. I did no prep for it. Destash list, shopping list. Theoretically, I'm going to categorize it by where to get something. I haven't made it to that. And then I have my book list section. So my master's program is creative writing. So I'm doing a lot of reading and I have to track what I read. So I have a section for that. I have my book log. I have my books to read log. I have book recommendations from other people log. I've got new releases, and that's my little book section. I have an add to planner list, and I have a someday maybe list. And those are the lists that I'm working with right now. Because one of the reasons that I kept my action categories was that I didn't have a section for projects, specifically like continuous projects that I had going on forever, like topics kind of thing. And I have a section for that now. So I feel like my lists section is a lot smaller because I have a projects section, if that makes sense. Something that I added within the last week was a notes section. As much as I loved rapid logging in my daily pages, I needed a place to think through things. So for example, like I have a bunch of talking points for this YouTube video, or on my Patreon, I do a lot of blog posts. So writing out an outline for my blog posts, just having like extra note paper and using this as a notebook, as well as my planner and my journal. I know that is a shock, but it was kind of like, oh, or brain dumping at the beginning of the week as a way to clear my head and then set up my planner. Because as much as I rapid log every day and I have an inbox system, sometimes things just collect in my brain because it's not necessarily a task or an idea in a way to be creative. It's just like word and anxiety vomit, and I needed a place to put that so that I could then deal with it and throw it away. As soon as a notes page is not relevant anymore, I take it out. So it's just a bunch of cut down Stalogy paper, basically. And that's that. And then I have this fold out with sticky notes. I have to refill some of my sticky notes because they're gone. And then I have some extra inserts, but I try not to keep too many of these because I am running out of ring space, so I have just a little bit. Next section is my projects section, and this is the next section that has 4 tabs, 4 top tabs. The first one is write, the second one is social, then perpetual, and then holiday. As I said, my master's program is creative writing, so I just made this tab write because theoretically I will be a novelist / writer my whole life. So even when I graduate from my master's program, this tab will still be relevant. In this section, I have another categorized list. There's personal information of somebody else on the back of this. This is my plan for my reading and my due dates. I have a task management for each big project that is due once a month, has multiple steps, and I'll check it off. I did this in my pocket. I need to copy it into my A6 rings again. Then I have a project timeline insert. And then this is kind of like my word and writing tracker. So less school, more writing-esque. So basically I want to track like what days I wrote and maybe talk about like when, kind of like a log for that. And then I want to track my word count for the day because I have to hit a certain page count, which is roughly a word count every month. And so I want to log that as well. And then because this is a range, I have this here to give exact numbers kind of in tandem side by side. Behind this, I have a few writing notes that I'm not going to show. And then behind that is the Perfective paper all around grid notes. And basically I'm using it in 4 columns per page. And I'm basically, when I'm writing and I have ideas, I'm using it as a rapid log for the purpose of when I go back and edit, or if I'm thinking about world building or something and like working through problems. That's what this is here for. And then that's that section. Next section is my social section, which is basically I just keep everything to do with my Instagram account in terms of planning, my Patreon account in terms of planning, my PR codes, and now my YouTube, if I can get this thing back up and running like I want to. Basically, if you're curious what's happening with my YouTube, I think is that I want to film at least 1 video a month. My patrons will get it early, and then it will come out maybe 2 weeks after my patrons get it on YouTube. That's my plan. We will see how that works. Unfortunately, YouTube will probably be the last place to find that out. Patreon will be the first place to find that out, and then Instagram will be the second because I am the most active on Instagram, to be perfectly honest with you. So, yes, I use this social media calendar, and my PR list is on the back of this. So PR list, and then I have a list of like ideas that I want to do. I have some notes from starting up my YouTube video again, which is why this isn't thrown out yet. And then the next section is my perpetual section. So theoretically, this is the section of projects that occur over and over again, maybe annually, maybe semi-annually, what have you. My husband and I do gifts for mothers and fathers on their respective Mother's or Father's Day for our church, and there are certain steps that we go through every year, and I want to write those down so that I'm not freaking out about whether or not I remember to do something at the time of that project. So that's what this section is for. And then I have a holiday section / event planning. It's not necessarily just Christmas, but right now I have Christmas inserts in there because that time of year is already fast approaching. Oh my goodness. Okay, the next section I have is finances. That's pretty straightforward. I'm going to skip over that because talk about super personal stuff. Next section technically says goals and ideas, but this is where I keep a lot of my planner stuff. So I have my daily, weekly, monthly planning routines here. I have a reminder to myself that green is a very neutral color. Since switching into rings, I have been very cover hoppy-y. I have been very splurgy on the covers because for some reason I feel like it's much easier to switch covers in rings than in TN, which is absolutely not true, but tell my brain that. So this is just reminding myself that I can use this green cover at any point in the year. It works with every season, and here's some ideas for that. Oh, and also if I didn't want to do a specific time of the year, here are some other options. So that's what that sticky note is for. Also, like this color is just my absolute favorite color. You can tell because it matches my cardigan. I've got two things right now that I'm wearing that are the same color. So to stay in a cover that is my happy color, just, you would hope it breeds contentment. I do have other covers for A6, but much fewer than the amount that I bought for my pocket rings, if you were actually looking at my D-stash list. Side note. After that, I do have a task reminders trigger list and an outline for like thinking about my system. This is from Pen and Plans on Instagram. And it's kind of like her little list for herself about whether or not a system is reasonable for her if she's feeling like switching. And I thought that she did a really good job of thinking of some really good questions. So I wrote them down. I love them. And then theoretically, this also was supposed to be a planner review list. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. This section actually doesn't get used that much except for my review. This is, eventually I want to write down what shop I get each insert from. So if somebody asks, I don't have to go through my the receipt or like my downloads to look for the answer for that. And I want to do that with this list. And then also this is, I want to write down like a table of contents type of deal for this. And then I do have the Peanuts Planner Co. insert checklist that I need to fill in. And then this would be the name of whatever number this is, because I don't remember inserts by number. I remember them by their content. So could I tell you what insert 65 was? No. Could I tell you what number task management was? No. So the two are supposed to like help each other out. Okay, and then the last section is my miscellaneous section, and this is the last section that has dividers. The first one is my Bible section. So in it, and I'm still working on it, is my daily Bible reading tracker. This was also a custom from Peanuts Planner Co. I do a Bible in a year plan where you go through the Old Testament once and the New Testament twice in a year, and you do 3 readings a day. And I hadn't found a single insert for planners anywhere that did this specific plan, because it's a plan that my entire denomination does across the world, which I think is kind of really special, because you can wake up in the morning or the day of and know that people around the world that believe like you do are reading the same part of the Bible as you are. And I think there's something really special with that. Anyway, I really wanted to keep it in my planner. I know I have it on my phone, and I have bookmarks in my Bible in each section, but like my planner is my brain and my hub, and so I wanted it in my planner as well, just in case. And Vivara found like the online database version and loaded it into this planner, this insert, so that I didn't have to go in and like edit it, which I was totally gonna do. I told Vivara, I was like, as long as you set it up, I will go in, and as long as you make it an editable PDF, like I will go in and I will fill these in. And Vivara was like, well, I found the plan online, and so I auto-filled it for you, so you don't have to go through and type those all in. And I cried. If you have not interacted with Vivara Peanuts Planner Co., just know that Peanuts Planner Co. is one of the best shops. Vivara is one of the best human beings. I just appreciate them so much. So this is just a labor of love and so much, and I appreciate that I have it. So Bible section first is my Bible reading plan. Next is a prayer list. I have not transferred that over from my rings, which, yeah, and I'm glad that I hadn't at this point, because that would be a lot of really sensitive information, because I do put other people's prayers on this list. I don't put my own prayers on this list, because I am well aware of the things that I think I need. I need to be more aware of the things that other people need. And I have tabbed, so I'm starting to tab stuff off with icons, and that is for quick, easy reference along the side. I've got one for the Bible reading plan, and I have one for the prayer list as well. And then my next section is trackers, and again, I have been slow to fill in these trackers from Pocket, so I can share some of them. I don't know if I can share all of them. The first one is sleep. Then I have 3 of these year on one side. I think I'm going to chop this part off. I don't know what it's for. I don't really have a purpose for it, but I want to just check off the days that I read, the days that I write. What did I say for this one? This one is health, like my period tracker, step tracker maybe, but I don't remember why I had 3. I don't remember. Theoretically, I wanted to track 6 things yearly, and I cannot remember what the last 2 were. The next section is, well, it's still my tracker section, but I have this Hobonichi pencil board in here because this is my cleaning tracker. Remember how I said my cleaning that was with my habit log is in a different spot? This is the spot it's in with trackers. And I'm switching this insert from the cleaning specific tracker to the monthly tracker, and then writing cleaning on one side and personal on the other. Because there's some personal things that I want to do monthly in terms of like hair care, or hair care or skincare kind of thing. Make sure I'm doing it once a month. that kind of doesn't exactly, like, I won't remember every 3 days for a 1 month, like a once per month item, if that makes sense. So I added this here. This is new for October. We're going to see how it works. I probably won't use the daily portion because I have the routines in here, the daily routines in here. This is also harder to get to. So even if I was to remove them from here, like, this would be a bad spot for this. So I don't think they're leaving this section. Next, I have reoccurring tasks. Again, this is theoretically like things that I want to do monthly or weekly, but like, this only supports monthly. So maybe the only thing I really need from this insert is like weekly things. Like, remember once a week to do X. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out. Remember when I said I'm maximizing to then minimize? I'm trying to see if this is a better setup than this and figure it out. On the other side of it, of the personal, is personal items. So when I'm opening different skincare and hair care products, in case something changes with my skin, or my hair, I kind of want to know, is the cause like a new product? The Foxy Corn on Instagram and on YouTube did that in her reference notebook in like 2019 or earlier, and I kind of want to embody that mentality. Items and toiletries. This one is like toiletries of my husband's / like cleaning supplies for our home, that kind of thing, or like his medications, that kind of thing. So like if he has an allergic reaction to something, we can kind of try to narrow that down. And then the other side is like adulting things, like, did you pay such and such credit card bill, or did you like do things on a monthly scale? Yeah. And the next section is my health section. So I know I have trackers, but then this is like a health log. And because this is so small, I also have like a running list to give a little bit more in depth. It looks like that. I have a headache log, makeup reference, so I know what colors I use, clothing sizes at certain shops because no one does anything the same, just a decorative dashboard with some photos and stuff. And then the last section is my reference section. I don't use this section very much, so it's small, and it's also very hard to turn to. You see, as I'm like holding my planner and you can't really see what I'm flipping. So last section is reference. So a lot of this is the Home Management Planner by Paper Test Designs and Hey Planner Girl. Some of it's not, but all of it is like wrapped in the like title. There is emergency information, personal information in case something happened, medical information, family information, my perpetual calendar is in here, insurance information, vehicle information, a vehicle maintenance log, my perpetual packing list is in here, an inventory log in case I go through the house and look at like how low are we on things, a shopping list, which is kind of not in the right place. I should probably remove that, as well as a meal planning. I have a couple meal planning inserts, and they're weekly, which like that seems exhausting to reprint an insert like every week. I don't know. So these will probably have to go. I have a couple like frequently used recipes back here, and a couple extra for filling in. I have grocery guide inserts back here. So like, what do we normally buy at certain stores, which I haven't filled in. I have contacts, and I have passwords. And then at the end, I have some more decoration. And that's my planning system. In this pocket, I think I have some stamps and some extra like journaling cards. In the back, I have some important documents and a journaling home September 2023 decoration. And yeah, that's pretty much my planner. So she fits quite a lot. She is very, very stuffed to the brim, but I also love it because the more stuffed the rings are, the closer it feels to a book-bound planner, unless it feels like there's actual rings in the way. I'm really, really loving this planner. It feels like home. It feels lived in. Like I've got tabs sticking out everywhere. I have photos in here in lots of places. A lot of them that I didn't show you. I've got different shades of paper. I have different textures. I have like, I'm not a good paper slicer, so they're all different lengths and widths, and it kind of just makes this planner look really lived in, and it is really lived in. So it kind of like compounds on itself. It's not too pretty for me to be wary of using it, and the fact that I'm using it makes it look less too pretty. That was terrible English, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that is my planner in a nutshell, and my planning system has not changed for the most part, except instead of writing out the dates and everything, and sticking down stickers in a weekly and all of that jazz, I am cutting and prepping pages at my own pace during the month and then setting them aside. And for some reason, printing and cutting inserts is way less tedious than setting up my own spreads, which for a lot of people is quite the opposite. But honestly, I'm loving rings. I'm loving how many sections I can have, how many different types of inserts I have for every different situation that's going on. And I also love that it's still kind of my bullet journal method, you know? Like, this is not a bullet journal by any stretch of the imagination. Like, don't come to me for authentic bullet journal advice. However, a lot of the principles that I really truly enjoyed about bullet journaling, I can still mimic in this system. Rapid logging, migrating, threading, collections, weekly reviews, monthly reviews, finishing a book, like a notebook. I clear out these pages at the end of every month, so I get a fresh start on most things every month. And then the stuff that has to stay in the back stays, and I don't have to rewrite my emergency medical information in the back of my planner every time I get a new planner. So the things that I truly loved about the bullet journal method and my TN system, I get to keep, but I also get to more easily move things in and out of this planner when I'm ready to. And I'm happy. So I hope I didn't shock my YouTube only followers too much. I know that this year, in terms of the planner community, I feel like has been very, very TN and book bound heavy. And so I'm kind of loving the ring content, and I'm like looking for ring content on YouTube. And besides Nicola and Carrie, the two people that I mentioned at the beginning, I don't see a lot of current ring content. And maybe if you could leave some more ring content down in the comments, I would really love that, especially if it's A6 or pocket. I do love personal as well, but there's something to be said about seeing your like page type, you know, like square. There's something about seeing that in action. But I'm not gonna be that picky where I'll be like, I'm not gonna watch someone use a personal ring size planner. But I'm starving for ring planner content, you guys, and I think that's one of the reasons I decided to finally jump on and talk about my system, is because I feel like there is not enough of it out there. So with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. It's getting dark here and it's cloudy where I am. Fall really hit really strong this week, so no sunshine. So I'm sitting in front of my window and it's very cloudy. Yeah, please let me know if you have any questions about where something is. I do remember in like a comment in a previous video, someone asked me where this pen was from and what it was. This is a Vanishing Point Decimo in the color Champagne with an extra fine nib, and I am still using this. I use it on the Tomoe River paper of my dailies the most often, but all of my inserts are fountain pen friendly, so theoretically I could use it on any page. I just find it doesn't make for fast and thoughtless writing. So if I just want to be in my planner to be fully functional, I will write with this pen, which is just the 2024 Hobonichi Uni Jetstream pen. And I'll just use like the Uni Jetstream ink, which also works really well on Tomoe River paper, but I cannot quit my fountain pen. It's truly like one of the things that I love about journaling and being on paper is this pen and the experience with this pen. But so I won't ever quit it. But someone did have a question, and if you're out there and you made it to the end of this video, here's your answer. It is thinner than the original. The decimos are smaller. They're made for smaller hands. I cramp using the regular size, so this one's much better for me. I think that's everything. I think I've said goodbye or started to say goodbye like 2 or 3 times now. So yes, please let me know if you have any questions. I will be happy to answer them. And if you want to see more content from me, please check out my Instagram. It's evergreen.inks. And I do have a Patreon now. I started that in June, maybe end of May. I do blog posts. Once a month I do a digital like a digital release, and in the past 2 months I've been doing a live stream playing with me, but this week that just didn't work out. This weekend I am very busy, so it didn't work out, so I'm deciding to do a YouTube video first, and it's turning out to be just about the same length as my live stream would be. So if you're interested in any of those things, please head on over, but also never any pressure to do so. And with that, thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.